Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Monday, the 15th day of September. Here we go. Now, you know that with teshuvah and repentance in the air, one of the things that we have to consider is that if you ever wrong a fellow Jew, you're never forgiven until you get the forgiveness of that Jew. You could say al chait as much as you want, you could cry as much as you want, but you have to get forgiveness from the fellow Jew, otherwise all of your teshuvah is missing a very critical step. So always try to get forgiveness from your fellow Jew. But today's halacha is about this. If you're the person being asked for forgiveness, and you were really pretty upset with the person who wronged you, and so when they come to ask you for forgiveness, you're tempted to do this, to say, do you really mean it? Yes, I do. So you kind of like make them grovel, and you say, prove it to me. And they say, well, really, I beg your forgiveness. And you say, I don't believe you. Prove it to me. And basically what you're doing is dragging it out and making them grovel in front of you because, I don't know, this is what your Yetzer Hara, your evil desire, wants to do. And when you do that, you should just know that it's really wrong for a very giant reason, and that is that if you act like that to a fellow Jew, you could, God forbid, have that same thing happen to you when God himself looks over your account. And if you were saying to the other person, well, this is the fourth time that you've done this to me. How do I know that this is the last? Well, what if God were to say that to you? There are things that you and I have done, unfortunately, more than 4 times wrongly in the eyes of God. And he forgives us on the 5th and the 10th and the 20th. At least that's what we're going to beg him for. So for you to turn around and say to your fellow Jew, well, I don't think so. This is the 2nd time you've done it, and I have a 2 times you're out rule. Well, if you were to have a 2 times you're out rule and strictly enforce that with your fellow Jews, what if, God forbid, God did that to you, and you don't want that to happen? And therefore, today's halacha is that you're supposed to be quick to offer forgiveness to your friend, begging and hoping that God will treat you in the same way and be quick to forgive you also. Now lastly, I might just add here that you might say, but I'm an important person, or I'm a rabbi, or I'm a teacher, and that person who wronged me needs to grovel in front of me so that they'll learn a lesson to never do this again. And that's why it's right that I make them grovel, because I'm trying to teach them a lesson, or I represent Torah, so they need to, for the honor of Torah, beg in front of me and shine my shoes, etc., etc. Well, whenever you feel like invoking that kind of thing, you'd have to check deeply within inside of yourself whether you're just retaliating or whether you're really standing up for halacha. And if you're not such an important person and you're just pretending you're important and acting like that, please check with a very important rabbi as to whether you have the right to do this to your fellow Jew. In most occasions, I believe he will say no. If you believe you're in one of those situations where you should make the person beg a lot of times and cry, then check that first. Don't just rely on your own gut feeling, because you might be judging it wrongly. You might be retaliating and claiming that you have a halachic stance. So usually be quick to forgive a fellow Jew. If you feel you really have a deep-seated reason for extending and slowing down your forgiveness, check with the rabbi before you start doing that. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.